Right guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking takeaways and we're going to rank them from worst to best. I went on Twitter this week and asked you guys for the most prevalent takeaways in Britain. I picked the top 9 and we're going to rank them. Now there is some that didn't make on the list. Japanese didn't make it in. I feel it's not prevalent enough. There's not enough Japanese restaurants around. A lot of the ones they are sushi, and there's not really, it feels like a cold thing. It feels like it's cheating. It's not having a meal deal in there. It doesn't count. Greg's got a lot of mentions as well, but you can't be a takeaway place if you're shutting when the shop's shut. No, doesn't make it in for me. Nando's is another one that people came at me for. I guess the genre will be peri-peri, but there's no other peri-peri restaurants, and Nando's is a primarily a restaurant. The takeaway is an afterthought. Doesn't get in. Anyway, let's go through the top 9. Now this one I'm going to accept is partly my fault. I've been to Thailand and I love the food out in Thailand, but I've never really got along with Thai food in this country. A lot of it seems too watery for me. Like the curries type things are too watery. Bean sprouts are basically water. There's quite a lot of watery stuff there. Also, I think it's a very steep learning curve with the Thai menu, which I've never really been bothered to properly tackle it. I think you need, like, some things are a lot more simple to understand what's going on, and there's lots of words, lots of things, no real way of telling what something is without ordering it and trying it. So for me, that's going to put Thai at the bottom of this list of 9 most popular British takeaways. Wait a second, can I just interrupt this video for a word from our sponsor, Air Up. I'm drinking a lot of water as I train for the Edinburgh Marathon for a couple of reasons. 1, I need to stay hydrated, and 2, I need to lose a bit of weight, so having a drink with 0 calories is very useful. The only downside to water though is the lack of flavour. Wouldn't it be great if you get flavoured water that still had 0 calories? It's the dreams of a madman, right? Right? Wrong! That dream is a reality thanks to Air Up. Air Up makes a unique water bottle that gives flavour to water using only air. The way it works is simple. You fill up your bottle with either still or sparkling water if you're a Tory, pop in the mouthpiece and straw, and push it down. Whoop. Then you add your little scent pod. Look, here I'm using a mango and passion fruit. You're drinking pure water, but the scent pod tricks your brain into thinking it's got flavour. Madness. You push it down, normal water, pull it up, scented tasty water. I've been using the Air Up bottle for about a week now, and it does genuinely taste like you're drinking a tropical fruit drink or something. I actually do properly love it. Not just saying that because they give me money. My kids love it as well. They've been nicking it and asking for their own ones. Overall, love it. The nice people at Air Up are kindly offering you 10% off your order at the entire web shop if you use the code Robbie. So if you want to drink water from the future, like me, click the link in the description and go check it out. Thanks Air Up. Now back to the video. Chinese now, one of the most popular takeaway options in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I've got to say there's some really good options on there. Prawn crackers, an elite starter, absolutely top tier. Beyond that though, I like the little chicken or pork balls. They're quite good because you order sweet and sour pork, and sometimes it's like a dish of like normal sweet and sour pork, and sometimes it's little balls. Sometimes it specifies. It's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? I said Thai had a steep learning curve. I think Chinese has a very steep learning curve. A lot to learn on a Chinese menu if you're really going to master the art of eating there. Another criticism of Chinese takeaways is too often they try and double up as a chip shop. You can't do both. If you do the chip shop thing as well, it means your chips are going to taste of sort of the Chinese food spices in there. Probably vice versa. I can't imagine it goes both ways. So I think really if you are running a takeaway, you've got to pick your lane and stay in it. That's my advice to all you aspiring takeaway mongers. In at 7, it's one for all you younger people. It's fried chicken. I think this is possibly a sign of my age, but it was when I was younger there was KFC, but there wasn't the plethora of fried chicken places around that. And I say the inner city dining scene is better for this. Advantages of the food stuff, it's a very great combination, very great, sound like Donald Trump, very great combination of the sort of crispiness of the chicken and the smoothness of the meat inside of the chicken skin, the crispiness of the chicken skin. I'd say where it lets itself down is the aftercare required from the meal. Your hands are filthy. You need to have one. I know you got a little lemon towel thing, but it's just not enough. It's just not enough. And also, you're left with a big bag of bones like you're a psychopath. You've been on a murdering spree. So for me, the aftercare required for the meal really stops it from being one of the elite takeaway options. Burgers now, and that's a thing that really is an option almost wherever you go. Most places have a McDonald's or a Burger King. A fancier place might have Five Guys or even a Shake Shack. And you can also get some really good sort of modern, trendy, filthy ones with that sort of bright yellow American style cheese and all that. They're really good. There's a really good selection of burger options out there, from the cheap to the gourmet. What lets it down, I think, a lot of the time, though, for me, is it's carby. It's too carby. You've got the bread and you've got the chips. Double carb. It's too much. It's too much for me. Kebab now, and in this category, I should say, I'm including all kebab type meat wrapped up in bread. So if you're a gyros fan, this is where it's going in as well. Any of those sort of things are going in here. It's the late night food of the gods. It's absolutely fantastic when you've had a few continental lagers or similar, or pints of binde. It's absolutely fabulous. Really good. Soaks up the food. Combine it with meat and chips sometimes. You can riff off this thing. Really good. Downsides, lack of veggie options. Halloumi is just a bit chewy in it. It's not great. So if you are a veggie, you're going to struggle a little bit there. Also, depending on what kebab shop you go to, it can be absolutely disgusting. Come on, like you're eating soil and gravel. Mexican now, and I wasn't sure whether to include this because it does feel there's not as many Mexican places, but they are popping up a lot more, and I can see them as a sort of takeaway option. There's a lot to say for Mexican food. It's absolutely tremendous. I've been to Mexico, and I've got to say, I think our Mexican food is better than Mexican food. That's not going to go down well with Mexicans, but we do have a really good selection. There's enough variety on the menu without it being too complex. You've just got to learn what a burrito is, what a fajita is, what a quesadilla is, a train over there, and those few sort of basic things, and then you sort of riff off that, don't you? You go, oh, I'll have a bit of pork, a chicken, veggie. A lot of good veggie options as well there. Yeah, really good selection of stuff there. What brings down the marking though for Mexicans? The charging for guacamole. There you go, there's your burrito. By the way, do you want some guacamole with that for an extra £9? Not really, mate. I want guacamole for free. Put your prices up to include the cost of guacamole. I just don't want to be punished for guac. Into the top three now, and pizza comes in at number 3. It wins a lot of plaudits for the ease of eating. You just get it and just, in your mouth. Simple concept. Bread, tomato, some kind of topping, cheese. There you go. Downsides is that simplicity of it. You've not got that much variety. There's not that many different toppings. I know you can occasionally get something a bit weird, but they don't tend to work as well when you go into odd toppings. And snails on a pizza in France, and just that's possibly my fault. The other downside of pizza, of course, is that you get idiots moaning about pineapple like they're the pizza overlords, gatekeeping pineapple. And they're like, oh, you can't have fruit on pizza. And they've all got tomato on. I really wasn't sure which way to put numbers 2 and 1, but in number 2 is the British classic of fish and chips. It's a simple concept. You get some chips, you take anything else and you put it in batter. Absolutely wonderful. It's a food that doesn't go where you think it will do. You think, oh, it's hot, it's quite filling, it'll be something you eat in the winter. No, they've seasides everywhere have got fish and chips. It just transcends temperature. I also like the mental options that you get when you go to the chip shop. You're going to have fish and chips. That's cool, mate. Do you want a massive egg on it as well? Who's buying the egg? It's my number one, the greatest food stuff in the takeaway world of the United Kingdom. It is Indian. Indian food is tremendous because there's a lot of options, but it's got a very simple system to understand. Once you learn what a boona or a vindaloo or a madras is, you can then riff off that. Go, I'll have chicken, I'll have veggie, I'll have king prawns if you fancy, like that. It's a really good system, and it's one that I think you can pick up fairly quickly. They also have a guide to it for how hot you are, so you can tailor it around that. Very good. It does cater really to idiots. In fact, even so far as they have a little bit at the bottom of the menu for people who are complete idiots to go for, I'll just have chicken nuggets and chips. There's not a single thing from this country I'm going to eat. I'm going to have chicken nuggets and chips. And you've got to admire that catering to those minorities and the lack of judgment when someone does go in and order one of those things. The variety of different bread stuffs as well. You go like in a lot of places and there's only one type of bread on offer, or very limited bread options, but there you got your roti, your naan, your chapati, your paratha, all sorts of stuff. The only thing, if I had to criticise something from Indian takeaways, is I think they need to have a national policy on poppadoms. Sometimes they're free and they give you them and you get them, that's good. Sometimes you don't get them and you think, well, I should have bought them, but you don't want to pay 80p for a poppadom when you might be getting it free anyway. So I'd like some kind of, I guess, transparency around the field of poppadoms, and then beyond that, I don't think there's anything to say about that. Thank you very much for watching this. Let me know in the comments, as always, your views on this and whether I've got things wrong and if there's anything I've missed out on. I'll see you very soon. Thank you to Air Up for sponsoring the video as well. Go and check them out. Link in the description, discount code Robbie. Bye.